Right.
8 seconds, okay. Sometimes the memory makes it longer. You ready? Sometimes Facebook takes a while to get in. Oh, the recording, okay. Okay, hey everybody, this is Doc G. And I'm actually filling in for the DJ Danny show or DJ Danny Presents show. I have a special friend and a special guest from actually planned this a while ago. A great TV and media guy. He's an awesome person. His name is Aaron Michael Sanchez, and I want to welcome him to the show today with me, Doc G. Welcome, Aaron. Are you there, Aaron? Did he freeze up? Oh boy. Okay, Aaron, did you hear? Can you hear me, Aaron? I think we're having some problems, people. Please work with me here. Um, Sometimes Skype has some issues. I'm not. I don't know if Aaron can hear me. We lost his picture. Can you hear me, Aaron?
I can hear you now. Yes, I'm just beginning a delayed. Hello, how are you?
Okay, I'm sorry, boy. You know, sometimes technology, as you know, is a friend, but it can also be a fiend. You dropped the R. Tell us, Aaron. Introduce yourself to our friends here on DJ Danny Presents show, and DJ Danny's watching as well.
Yeah. Well, I don't know quite where to start off except so I do TV, radio, and online. I'm oftentimes referred to as a new media producer because a lot of the content that we produce often sits online forever, and that's how I started in the business. But officially, I'm on both ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM, as well as KVVB TV. We're one of the few programs that actually are on both TV, radio, and we stream live online, much like your own show.
And you know what's funny is you actually introduced me to, well, DJ Danny introduced me to you, and then you introduced me to actually a show on your network, which was really fun, and I had a great time. But I appreciate also being on your show. So, can you tell me a little bit more what you do? So, you say you interview celebrities, you interview a lot of different people. Let's talk about a little bit more what you do, because this time is yours.
So Well, okay. I guess the simplest thing of what I do is what we do at the studios. It takes a combined effort of a lot of individuals. I'd like to say it's just me, but let's face it. It'd be pretty pompous to say anything like that. The reality is, I've got a great team, and what we do here at the TV studio is we have a couple of programming stuff that we do, which is one is entertainment, which I've produced for quite some time, and that's called the Hollywood Social Lounge. And on there, we interview a lot of red carpet interviews. We do a lot of filmmakers, much like the guests that are on your show, because I've tuned into your show, and I see you guys do a lot of the entertainment world as well.
Yes, we
And
do.
then I host another daily morning show, and on there that's Monday through Friday. That probably takes up the majority of my time preparing, getting ready for that. And we interview all types of very interesting people, organizations, people that are making a difference in the world, including authors, filmmakers as well sometimes get on. We just had a musical guest the other day. I'm always surprised whenever I walk onto our set. I'm like, okay, who are we interviewing today? And I'm like, oh wow, I get excited every single day working the show. So that's a little bit of what I do, if that makes any sense.
Oh no, that's beautiful. It's exactly what I wanted to say. I mean, yeah, you guys, you introduced a lot of people out to other people in that area and all over the world, of course. But some of the guests I've seen that you've had were really, really, really awesome, and they told you a lot of stuff. You had book authors on, and I just wanted to ask you. So, what got you? How did you get involved in this? What made you start broadcasting for yourself here and working with these other guys?
Oh, well, it goes pretty far back. I always tell people I never set out to do this. I always, the very first chance I got, I was actually in uh, sales for a long time. I was the guy that would go door to door selling you air conditioner, windows, anything that I could get, a job with that I did well with. A lot of home improvement. I started off very early on in the days in sales, selling cable TV was one of my very first jobs. Direct TV, security systems, and the like. And yeah, I'd be at your doorstep saying, would you like to hear our special? I mean, it was a lot better than that. I'm kind of out of tune with, the door knocking procedure, but it was about a little over 10 years ago when I felt the need to feel like, you know what, I could be in sales the rest of my life, but do I really want to? And I thought, let me switch it up a little. Let me add in something that I've always wanted to do, which was one of my first loves, which was, acting. But I'm like, well, I'm not going to be an actor per se. So maybe I'll just do voiceovers. And I thought, okay, let me do voiceovers. And I thought for sure that would be the claim to fame there. And little did I know that was completely not the route I was going to take. I was going to take a very roundabout route. I guess on our show, I throw in voices from time to time, but I've never been hired to do a particular cartoon voice. I think that's probably my ultimate dream goal, to be on like some type of TV show where I'm doing the voice of some type of new voice. I hear that Simpsons is about to like end their journey over there, but I don't know. What do you think? I mean, do we have a chance?
I think.
Do you think? We both can create a TV show with cartoons. What do you think?
Oh, I think so. I have a lot of friends that are into to cartoons and the images like that, and I actually friends that do voiceovers and the characterization of people. And you and I definitely would be great characters.
Yeah,
because I used to do voices way back too when I was younger.
Why not? I
delve
vote that
in
we
everything.
vote for ourselves. How about that? No, but but seriously, so my journey kind of started off in not knowing anything about broadcasting and then having to learn everything from step to step to step. So oftentimes, people are kind of surprised when I come on and I'm on, an on-screen host. But then if there's like a problem or something that arises, I can step directly behind the camera or behind the studio. And if there's like a technical glitch or something, I can say, here, fix this, do that, because that's how I learned. I learned from the very beginning all the way up. And I learned backwards, actually. I like to say backwards because it's not your traditional way into television. I worked online. So we did all the way back to the days where we used a little, it was called I'm trying to remember the encoder. It was a very basic encoder. And at that time, people were not quite streaming to online, any type of television. There were a couple new ones. YouTube had just barely come out. Right. They were not live streaming anything at the time, mind you. They were simply uploading video and then having it set up there, and then you get it. They were not live streaming. And we were part of a nonprofit at my good business partner, Jose Luis Sedano. He actually helped me as well kind of get into learning this digital space. And I just thought, wow, you could do so much with so very little. And I saw you just need a couple cameras. You need like a switcher, which is put onto your laptop. At that time, it was a desktop, but now they're so quick and fast because the laptops have, sped up. And so long story short, I learned. And then as I learned, I applied it. And I always viewed this as my own like mini school, if that makes sense. So I did my job, and then opportunities just kind of came my way, to be quite frank. I would host an event for another nonprofit called the it was for Latino graduate, and then it was for another program called the Lead Educational Advocacy. They're going to kill me over there because I'm supposed to do it again another day. But, I got a lot of things in my head. But long story short,
okay. Take your time.
Cal State University, San Bernardino, I worked with them a bit. Somebody found me there, and then he invited me onto his radio program, which was at that time NBC News Radio, KCAA. A big shout out to Paul Lane, who originally invited me onto his show just to be a segment, like a 5-minute segment, because he saw I did some interviews on the red carpet,
Right.
which I was doing for another magazine called Latine Magazine, and the rest is history.
Oh, very, very cool. Very, very cool. I love how you started out
Yeah.
because you don't have to be a broadcaster to learn how to broadcast. We find that out with a lot of people that we bring in here. The same thing. Some people that are really successful aren't really broadcasters. They just thrive, and
Right.
they want the best for themselves and us. So we play off each other. So just like you said, it's
Yeah.
it's what you feel that you really can do. But that the salesman type of thing is almost like because we get them all the time. People come all the time, and then people are nice. Some people are a little rude. And
Right.
it depends on the person. It really does because it depends on what they're selling, what they're doing, and how they act. If they act kind of weird, that I don't bother. But I give them time of the day. I talk to them and let them know that they're doing a good job, but I'm not interested. They're still doing a good job. I don't
Right.
send them away and say,
Right.
listen, I'm not interested in anything you do or anything like that. No, you're doing a good job, but I'm really not interested. I just let them know that, and they bring them down easy because they're based on commissions.
Yeah, I mean, I always have respect for any salesperson that runs 100% on commission. It's not an easy job,
No, it's not.
and oftentimes, if you're being pitched to by a salesman who is either rude or a little bit aggressive, I like to say, that's too much for me. I've never been that way. I've been what many consider a one-call closer. I can go and close a deal with 7 out of 10 jobs. Typically, that was my closing average with most jobs that I did.
Wow.
So I had fun closing, but I was a one-call close kind of person. This like long process of like 3-4 months closing, that quite wasn't my speed, but I'm learning to adapt to that because it's a different ball game when you're in front of them. Either they like it or they don't, or they just need a little push in the right direction because they know they want it. They just want to save a buck, and it's up to your job to be able to make sure they can save a buck while feeling good about their purchase. So hopefully they, in the end, don't have buyer's remorse, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I see you like in the future. You're just starting out still as well. That you're going to be really so much bigger and better. I mean, you're going to be probably on a regular TV show, on a real TV network and stuff like that. I think that's coming. I think it might be coming for both of us.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Because you have such.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, well, the sky's the limit, right? I mean, I like to say the sky's not only the limit because we've been to the moon and back, and then now we're going to Mars, right? I don't know who wants to actually live on Mars. I personally would not sign up for that what I feel is like a one-way trip. I've seen way too many movies on that subject, but I don't know about you, but I'm not signing up for the Mars. But, if we've gone beyond that and then some, anything that we do while here on Earth is something that, look, we're at a day and age, and I always tell people this: if you like to do something, put it on camera. They used to say put it on film, but it's not even film anymore; it's digital. So cameras are so cheap now, and the iPhone. I just saw a commercial with the iPhone 11, I want to say, and they shot the whole commercial using the iPhone 11. If you just take some time. If maybe there's a listener out there or a viewer that's thinking, I've been wanting to do something. I always say, what harm does it take to pick up one of these things, put yourself on camera, upload it to one of umpteen different places. We've got Facebook, we've got Periscope TV, we've got LinkedIn Live, we've got YouTube Live, which has been there. Or you don't even have to go live. You just record it, put it up, and throw it out there. You never know where it will take you. And if you love this long enough. Because you got to love it to stay in it, because it could be a grueling task if you're trying to put food on the table and you're like, how am I going to monetize on this, right?
Oh yeah, so true, so true. So let me ask you this: so as you do your show, and how you prepare, you said you have a lot of prepared time. How do you prepare for your show? Do you do a lot of reading? Do you do a lot of online internet? I think we talked about this before, but you do a lot of internet chat rooms and blogs and different things like that
Hmm.
for getting people on your show. How's that work?
Do you mean to like book the guests or to get the content that we're going to share for our
Get
daily show?
get the content.
To get the content? Oh, well, I mean that is uh, a very private and time-tested strategy out there that I would have to charge you money for. No, I'm kidding. Actually, it's very simple. It's very simple. You know what? When I got into this business, I thought it's got to be really complicated,
Yeah.
right? Like, how do they do this?
Right.
And so I just came up with my own version. Is I scour the top headlines on the major um, ones, and I look for ones that are a positive, either funny, engaging, and or something that's getting a lot of traction in comments. So I will simply go to Facebook. I go to Facebook. I check out some of the top headlines from stuff that interests me. Like I love Mashable. I love another one, Yahoo Lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
USA Today, ABC, of course. We're an ABC affiliate, so it would make sense. I look at all these and I see what's trending, and I see what is something that is like a 24-hour cycle because I know what to comment on. I usually don't like going beyond that because it's a daily and we want to keep our content fresh.
Right.
Every now
Correctly.
and then, those websites, though, they repost content that's been like a year later, so you have to research that. But I like to look at what's trending and what people are commenting on because sometimes what you think is going to trend or a subject that you think is going to be popular, you see the comments, they're either bad, they're negative. You're like, okay, that's not really doing really well with the audience. So why would I want to share that? Anything controversial, look, any of our shows, we try not to cover anything super extremely controversial. And I'm talking politics. Politics we stay away from. I've been asked by a couple of entities to, feature their candidates. And I usually shy away from that because I don't feel like I want to, make people decide on our show. I don't think our show is that platform. From another show, that could be their platform. That's just not our platform at this time. But to answer your question, quite simply, I just really go to Facebook. Sometimes I'll find things on Twitter, and honestly, every now and then I'll find like a fun news article posted by one of my friends. But I'm finding that I get so little time to go on to social media just to peruse and have fun that I oftentimes, I relegate it basically to a bathroom break, and that's it. Did I say that on air? Oh my goodness, we need to edit that out, Gino.
That's okay. You're good, man. No, but when I see you in the community, and I see, every now and then I see you on Facebook, and I watch not just your show, but when you're out in the community and you're doing things, are you always doing that salesman thing where you're trying to pitch, say, like the station and stuff like that every now and then? Because I think it's in our blood, right? Most of us do that.
Yeah, well, look, at the end of the day, who's going to pay the bills, right? And
Right.
and I
Very
would
right.
venture to say it's the audience member. It's the audience that we get and we attract and hopefully we hold on to enough that they're going to want to keep engaging with our show. And hopefully if they watch our show, whether it be online, whether it be through our television entity, whether it be through our radio affiliate, either way that they watch our show, hopefully it's something that we mention on the air. If I mean, it could be a sponsored interview. A lot of stations do that. We're looking at that. We haven't done that up until now, but it's something that look, whenever there's a giveaway, for example, why do company or businesses do giveaways? They're selling basically their event, right? So like we're going to be doing around the corner Disney on Ice ticket giveaway. Well,
Good.
do they pay us to promote that right now? They do not, actually. They don't. It's a straight giveaway. But we want to add value to those
Beautiful.
listening to us. So we're going to go ahead and do that. But at the same time, they themselves get free advertising. And so I challenge any podcaster out there or anybody that's in the business of wanting to get their stuff heard, open yourself to these ideas because sometimes they're not going to pay the bills, but they're certainly going to help you promote your own show and align it hopefully with someone bigger than yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's exactly the way we feel. The same way Hamilton Radio feels is we always try to reach out to the community for support. and say, listen, what can we do to help you? What do you need? Do you need to sell more tickets? Do you need to get more tickets? Is it a free event? Is it not a free event?
Right.
What do you need from us?
Right.
And that's why we're here.
Or is it a charity event? A lot of charity events get free publicity, and they need it, right? They need it, and you're more than willing to help out. I know we get hit up by a variety of nonprofits that have and do some really good work in the community, whether it be homelessness, whether it be vets, whether it be like a certain disease that they're trying to raise money for, or it could be just simply, I think I remember seeing somebody, I think they're, they were in a bad situation. They set up like a GoFundMe account, and it could be as terrible as that, and maybe there's somebody else trying to raise funds. And so you have them on your guest and as your guest, and then you're telling their story, and then people are moved to out of generosity to pitch in, right? It takes a community to make a village. And I find that on our shows, as well as I'm sure you do as well in your own community, that when the village, so to speak, or the community team up together, we could really make things happen. Whereas when people are so divided and they only want to do their own thing, it can cause for a lot of tension, a lot of strife, and a lot of pain in the end.
I totally agree with that. 100% agree with that. So any questions that I'm looking for outside that anybody has questions for our guest, AARON Michael Sanchez, today, please post them on the Facebook. I got it on DJ Danny Show Facebook, and I'm looking at people saying hi, and they're waving, and they're listening to the show, and they like it, but they're not posting comments. So if you got any comments you want to ask AARON, let me know, and I'll be glad to share them with AARON. But yeah,
Which, by the way, wait, if I just may interject,
sure, go ahead, AARON,
so we are streaming live on Facebook, or
yes.
Where are we streaming live to? I think.
Yes, we're live on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
We're on the DJ Danny
Show.
Oh,
got it. Okay, I wasn't sure if we were recording.
Yeah, we're on DJ Danny Show.
All right, so look,
we're also recording it too.
Well, and I'll repost this. I'm glad this happened on air, because the reality is you don't know how many times I stream live, and like our guests sometimes forget. And so I'm going to do what sometimes our guests forget to do. Okay, I'm going to repost it to my Facebook account. That way, we can get some more listeners, some more, questions absolutely. There. So it's at. And of course, if anybody's watching and you're finding this, go and like the page DJ Danny Show, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, she's very, very happy.
Now,
good.
Now, can I ask you a question? How do you like streaming to Facebook or any other? I don't know if you choose multiple platforms. I personally always recommend, if you're going to go Facebook, go on like Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, all of them that allow it. But how do you find the experience to be? Because I find it great, because you get the engagement live, you get to hear what's on people's minds. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, and sometimes just they're crickets. They just want to watch. They don't want to type.
Well, I think it's a bevy of different things. First of all, the computer that actually has to do that has to have a good amount of memory and a good size hard drive. And we use our hard drive all the time because of the shows we do. So we're only able to do Facebook and record for YouTube. So we only stream live on Facebook. That's the one question. When we did it before, it's a multiple of reasons that we stopped doing that. We'll share them with the other networks. We'll share them with the other platforms, but we don't put them on the same platform at the same time because of the different things with Periscope and the different things with the Instagram and all these other different platforms that are out. We have these issues that we don't know. We don't know exactly if it's getting out to the people. Even though it says it does, we don't know if it is. So when it's pre-recorded, recorded, and then shared, it goes there. And then you start getting comments. But you're right, the comments aren't there when the person like you are there to ask them now. You can't ask after it's done.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. But
well, and it's funny you say that. And I guess the reason I'm asking you this on Facebook Live is because I had found when I first went on a Facebook Live with our show, and I did this. Look, for those that watched our show at the very beginning stages, I did it out of I can't believe I'm saying this on air, but I'm going to go out on a limb. So I did it from my bedroom
Sure.
at my mother's house. Like how ridiculous. Like you never want people to know that. And then, somebody told me, hey, why don't you put a banner behind you? Shout out to Tim Harris of KVVB.
Absolutely.
And he says, I'll go ahead and get that banner for you. Just put our logo on it, put it on another, and, and we'll post it to our Facebook. And I said, okay, great. And, for the longest time, and I swore I would never tell anybody this, but I'm releasing this on your show. So breaking news,
Awesome.
there it is. But the reason I did that was so I would back to the reason I'm asking about Facebook Live. So we would get a lot of views on Facebook Live because Facebook, when it first came out, don't know for those how many people have been on it ever since the beginning. We were on it very beginning, and when we posted it, we would get the views, and we would see like 100,000 people it reached, and then all of a sudden, like 3 to 4 weeks after I told everybody, you got to get on Facebook Live, you got to get on Facebook Live. About like 5 or 6 weeks later, all of a sudden their numbers dropped dramatically.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, what happened to the 100,000 views? Now it was down to like 50 views at the most.
Yep.
Like live, I'm talking about. After the fact, you can get a lot more, but I'm talking about like live viewers right there and then. And I would challenge anybody to say, hey, just like AT&T and others, who nobody ever looks at this, but the social media giants do and can throttle your viewing
Yes, they
stats.
Can. Yes, they can.
So I don't know if anybody wants to investigate that, but yeah, which I think is unfair to people, in my opinion. You either have to pay to play to be seen or viewed, and I feel, I get it. Facebook's got to make money. You're using their platform. It's free. So I get the business side of it. I just feel it's an unfair advantage to creators around because I'm sure they lift the throttle for certain creators. I could be wrong on that. I don't know. No, so don't quote me on that, but I'd venture for some people to be like, hey, why don't we put a committee together and see that this is an equal playing field for all? Because I feel it's slanted. I get more views, Gino, on my Periscope TV, which Twitter owns, by the way. A lot of people don't know that Periscope got bought by Twitter.
Right.
I get more views on there live than I do on Facebook. It's kind of sad. And now LinkedIn Live is coming in on around the corner. So I would say Facebook, catch up with the times. I could be wrong, but there you go.
No, but I didn't know that LinkedIn actually had a platform to do that. Is that a free platform as well? It is. Okay.
Yes, it is. I know. I'm kind of I think LinkedIn should pay me to promote this. I everywhere I go, every speaking engagement, I tell people LinkedIn Live is the place to go. Yes, LinkedIn Live, actually, you have to set up an account, and you can apply online. If approved, they will give you a beta account. It's still in the beginning stages of it, but I would challenge anybody that has like a product or a service, or maybe they're doing social media classes, whatever the case is, do your own show, do it on LinkedIn Live, start amassing an audience now before they end up throttling it as well, because I think each and every one of them do that from time to time. So it's just the nature of the beast. We got to succumb to, what they say, which is why radio and TV, I think, isn't going anywhere, because, they blast it out, and it just depends on how many people view. But, these social media giants are kind of being like, well, you can see it, you can't see it. You have to amass a large audience before we show you anybody. So you got to pay to play, back to my point. But yeah, LinkedIn Live, if you haven't checked it out, go apply for an account, get it while it's hot and early, and you might be, the next, what's that guy's name? The one that everybody likes to see? Oh, Gary Vaynerchuk. You could be him.
Okay, that sounds good. But I will say something about LinkedIn that when I was on LinkedIn, maybe say about a year ago, 2 years ago, I like the fact that everybody's professional on there. You're only teaming up with the people within your circle, and the whether it's a music creator or a movie creator, or they're all who they say they are. There's no fake accounts on there, which was good,
Right.
because that's why a lot of professional people went there. I don't know what it's like now.
Very true.
I don't know if it's the same as that. If it is the same as that, I may venture back over there just to see that, because that may be a great opportunity for us, because we're always looking for people to hook up with, radio stations to work with, radio companies to work with, businesses to work together, like you just said, what you were talking about, as far as unity between businesses. So that's all exactly what we're looking for.
I would challenge you to do that, and I would start off by just getting beta access, just to prove for that. Show them your show that you have on Facebook,
Sure.
and they'll get you approved pretty quick and fast. I don't see them delaying that, and get in early, because once they make it public for everybody, it's going to be like Facebook. Everybody's going to have an account, and anybody can do it. Now, you do have to have one of several pre-approved vendors list that you stream to. So for those that don't know how to stream, YouTube everything pretty much. But you can check out a free program called OBS, and they can send, or vMix is another good one. You can send your program to LinkedIn, but you have to use one of the third-party ones, and the majority of them you have to spend some money. I have found that a really good one that I like actually is Restream.io. You go Restream.io. I think they have like a 7-day trial. So once you get beta access, download Restream.io. Put it in and try it out. See if you like it. You'll stream to them. They can restream to multiple channels all at the same time. Just their pricing structure differs based on how many different platforms you want to be able to stream to live. But here's a workaround that, which I don't like to tell a lot of people because then they're going to be my competition. But I always say there's enough business around the world because we're international, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
But if you're listening or you have a viewer that's listening right now, just tell them Restream.io. And then here's what I do. If you have a 3 maximum amount, you do it live to the 3 different ones, and then you sign off, you make sure to record that segment or whatever that is thing that you're doing and restream it again as though it's live. Keep your comments kind of general. And now people don't know if they're watching a live show or a rebroadcast show, and you can make your stuff last even longer and further and get additional people. Shoot, you could rerun it like 24/7 if you wanted to, and in different time zones as well, and still get an audience. It's pretty amazing what you could do with the online world.
I like that idea. I also like, with the watch party for Facebook, I've done it with several shows that we've done and several shows on your station as well, where I would rerun it like 3 or 4 times during that day, and I get all kinds of different audiences. So, different times, different time zones, different people, different friends from all over the world. And, I never saw this before, So you don't know who you're going to attract in. You don't know who is going to be affected by it.
Right.
And it's a great, very, very good point to put out, as you did.
Yeah, personally, I love the watch feature because it's a shared experience. There's a couple tweaks I would do for that,
right.
Which would make it a truly shared experience. Because the problem with watch that I foresee is you can invite as many people as you can, and then they come on, but then they come on or they leave off. And because it's in the middle, I like to use a countdown at the beginning of every one of our shows, so it gives people time. So I've tested it where I'll invite people only during that first 5-minute countdown clock that we have, and then I stop. So I used to continue on, but then I find in the middle of a conversation they're kind of like, what am I watching? And so they don't stick and so they're on for like 3 seconds. They're like, oh, I don't know, and then they move off. Whereas if you get an audience, you get people to get on. That's the thing that I don't like with LinkedIn. They are like, we don't like timers. They have a maximum 2-minute timer that you can do. So I'm a little biased on this, but I feel every show should at least have a countdown clock because it takes time to accumulate an audience. You can't just expect them once you're on for them to go, oh, I'm looking at it now, I'm going to stay here, because sometimes they're in the middle of a conversation. Right. They don't even know what you're talking about.
Right. Very true.
Which is good. Yeah. And the reason why it's better for an audience after the fact, right? Not just the live audience. We get more of our views. I say 9/10 of our views come from after the fact rather than the live audience. But it's nice to have a live audience during the show.
Yeah, well, the interaction is always good to do with people that watch you, so the way you look, how your voice is. Are you a gentle person? Are you a calm person? Because a lot of times you'll watch different things. I'll watch TV or every now and then, or even some of the TV shows that are on on Dish Network, and they're live radio shows. And I'm like, this isn't we could do better, Aaron. We could do way better than what they're paying people to do. Are you kidding me? They're just sitting there talking to a microphone, and They don't even have guests. You know, we do way better than
Well,
that.
and a lot of people would be surprised. Yeah, some people would be surprised and shocked, even in radio land. The first time I heard this, and I remember because I go back to the days of Rick Dees in the morning. I loved Rick
Rick,
Dees in the
yeah,
morning,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And
Disco
I
Duck.
thought all calls in any radio show were completely 100% genuine. Later on, I found out that the majority of these have people calling into these radio stations and acting, because there's actors that can get paid a certain amount
Yep.
just to like call into a show to make it appear as though it has an immediate audience. And I said, when I first entered this, I said, I am never paying for a fake phone call ever. I would rather have a social media audience, which is live. They're true. They're really tuning in. They
Right.
have comments. Some of them
Right.
comments we can't share on the radio. After sometimes pre-screen them right before I talk about them, because we're an ABC affiliate. We don't want to get an FCC ban, or we're on television. We certainly don't want to get them banned, or especially a fine. But so I love that engagement. You can't get that real, genuine, raw, some would call data, but feedback from the audience that you can with social.
That's absolutely true. I couldn't agree more with what you're saying. I just don't see that with some of the shows how these people get paid good amount of money. And I'm not saying they're not worth it. I'm just saying I don't see their show as other people see it. And I'm not putting them down or anything. I just say I don't see it. So I want to clarify that. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying I don't see them as real people. That should be there doing it. I think so many people do it better.
And I feel, there's something for everybody in the digital landscape that we have now. And I would throw TV in that same sphere, because oftentimes, how many times do we come across, like, look, Jimmy Fallon, I probably have not watched a true full episode, or Kimmel, love Kimmel, but I have not stayed up that late to watch an episode, but I will see it on Facebook, or I'll see a clip of what he or who he interviewed on YouTube. So a lot of these TV channels are migrating to the online world because it works, it sticks, it's on there forever. It's like a digital library landscape, which is just growing, growing, and growing. And I wonder if at any point they're going to say, they're going to put on the brakes and they're going to be like, okay, that's enough of content because we have way too much. At what point does Google say, yeah, we don't know how many things to search out for, which is why as a digital content creator, which I guess I would put myself in that same line, is you're always trying to advance to make sure that you're relevant and that your stuff will be seen by an audience. So now you learn about keywords. You got to learn about so much more than just putting content up and expecting people to actually watch when they may not watch because they don't know that it's there, because maybe Google doesn't know how to search for it. So you got to create a website, put a blog together, embed it. There's so many things, so many ways to do it that it can make your head spin.
Very true. And a lot of these gurus, they call them gurus that do these things. They don't really do anything special, but they're selling their program. They're selling their whatever it is that they do, and people are buying it and people are loving it. And that's exactly kind of what TV does, in that same form. It gives you a program. It tells you this is who's on it. This is what's going to be about, and either you accept it, you like it, or you don't like it, and you move on. But like you said, in the digital world, there's so many places to go, so many places to choose. And I love the fact that Facebook offers that. But YouTube, and I don't want to get in an argument with YouTube people, but YouTube is, I don't know if you're aware of it, it's going to start shutting down a lot of videos for people. They're going to start pulling the videos out that aren't making money, that monetize themselves for YouTube, and a lot of money that don't make money for the person on YouTube. And this was hearsay, but I think they're going to start implementing it.
You mean they're going to like?
Oh, you
mean they're going to? Yeah, because this is news to me. Because I have a YouTube channel, which I'm not going to lie, I became a non-fan. We still stream on YouTube because I'm hoping there's a glimmer of hope over there. But YouTube, when they cut it, all monetization, you had to reach a certain minimum threshold of views, which I challenged them. That's how they got big. It was on the little views, what many are calling in social media micro. What do they call them? Micro influencers, not necessarily like, in other words, 1.3 million subscription base is different than the person that maybe has, 10,000 subscription based, but they're both valuable. The 10,000 oftentimes gets somebody on that wouldn't be on. There's a lot of different ways, but when they cut that monetization out, I'm not going to lie, I was like, where's the exit door here?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I felt that was the beginning of the end for YouTube. I could be wrong. I hope somebody in management will end up coming back and saying, you know what, we kind of messed with our most loyal base, the content creators, because after all, we're getting free content from these people that are putting in their time and effort, and we're making it like, look, you have a minimum, we're not going to support you. But on the other hand, again, I can see the business side of it. YouTube getting a lot of heat and a lot of trouble for videos that shouldn't be out there. You have no idea how many times the little 7-year-old, God bless his heart, he's surfing for something, and I'm like, what are you watching? Because it's not either it's too adult, or it's like, shooting people's heads off because it's a game, but it's not appropriate for the 7-year-old. And yet YouTube is kind of letting this thing fly out there. So I've seen them start to put like safeguards in for kids and content creators. Now you have a new box that you have to check, and you have to say, is this appropriate for kids?
Right.
And I'm glad they do that now as a newfound kind of like step parent stepping into a role as step parent. Now I'm like, I'm very cautious about what the little one's watching. Whereas before I never even thought about it, because for those that don't know, I kind of, it's like instant family with my lady over there and her little one. And so, now I'm like, now I'm thinking differently on the way we can, create content. Now I'm especially like, no cussing, no bad language, no like just for the little one, right?
Right. No, you're right. And in fact, that YouTube initiated this, the thing is that, look, if a person's going to be a predator or any type of thing with the type of thing, because I see a lot of people playing games, and I see the big gaming community watching people playing games. That's all they do is watch people play games. And the community, people are just watching them. That's all they're doing. And they're paying to watch people play games. It's not like they're getting it for free. So,
yeah.
But the content you're talking about, that content advisor, is actually a good thing. But again, you could still escape it by just saying you're not. However, they got to start finding the YouTube people that let it go through. They got to find the people that have YouTube channels that aren't appropriate and aren't in the filter areas. Don't you agree? I mean, that's the only way you can stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what YouTube, they put the brakes on, and they're like, you know what, oh my goodness, we don't want to get in trouble. And there were a lot of people just uploading one video and getting a viral sensation, but it was like, I think if they made the entry, kind of like what you said with LinkedIn, there's really no fake profiles over there. And Twitter is notorious for fake profiles.
Yes.
Facebook too. How many of us get fake requests for people we are obviously fake, right? And you're like, so... I'm talking about those that get like, the woman in a bikini requesting you. She's got like 25 friends. You're like, wow, I get to be your friend. Yeah, no, that's a fake profile. But, if YouTube was a little bit more balanced about that, about, proving, and Facebook's really good about that. They really try to crack down on that. Because everybody that knows me knows I have like 5 profiles, and every now and then they'll shut down a new profile that I set up, because I don't believe in just having one fan page. Because I know how Facebook's algorithms work, and sometimes they'll switch over to profiles being a strong thing. Sometimes they'll switch over to pages being a strong thing. Yep. It just depends on who's paying the bills over there at Facebook. And so I once I hit my 5,000 limit on one profile, I'm go over to a second profile and a third profile. But every now and then they catch me. They're like, hey, prove who you are. And now they have you send in a passport or your photo ID, which I think is completely ridiculous. But if they do it, I don't know why YouTube can't do that. I mean, they're bigger than Facebook. I think they were. I don't know. Maybe they're getting small again. I don't know.
Well, YouTube is, is like you said, is owned by Google, and Google's not small. We know that. But Facebook is a big presence now, and I think it's overtaken a lot of different social networks, and I think that's the competition that people really got to. I mean, if you can come up with something like Facebook that doesn't have all these different blocks, think about how huge that would be. But then you got to get all the community from Facebook to there. That's the biggest. That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, and look, anybody that knows the financial means of a particular company, video is very data intensive. So oftentimes you'll upload
Very
like a
true.
really high definition video, like a 4K video. But the problem is the majority of people don't have the speeds. With 5G coming up around the corner, they might have the speeds, but the majority of people still are 4G. Some are even 3G on their mobile phones, so they dumb it down. And the reason they also dumb it down isn't so that you have a good streaming experience, but it's a lot of data to send out back and forth. So who picks up the tab? YouTube does. Google, of course, owns YouTube, but they pick up the tab.
Right.
Facebook picks up the tab. So a lot of people, I guess it's knowing both sides of the story. I know about encoding. I know the data, how much it is to send data over, because it's not free, contrary to popular belief of unlimited plans, which is why they throttle it down. Somebody somewhere along the line is charging. And so I get it. And look, here's my advice to any content creator: be on as many platforms as you possibly can where the people are that your show or your content will reach. IGTV is a kind of new thing. We stream some of our shows, not all of our programming on there. We have to reformat it for the IGTV experience, which is Instagram, which ultimately is owned by Facebook, but it's a different demographic. It's a much younger demographic than the majority of those on Facebook. So know your demographic, know where your audience is. And back to your point earlier, if you're trying to go for a business professional, you're looking for advertising dollars, or you're looking for a different category, LinkedIn attracts the majority of those in a business world setting. So if you create a show, create it around business, and most likely you'll be seen by more often than not.
Very, very true. Well, we're coming up to the end pretty soon here, Aaron. I just want to give you anybody else have questions that we can go over. Any last minute thoughts on your end? But I love the conversation. I love where we went with the community, and I love the idea that we brought your broadcasting experience in. We brought also your technical experience in. I didn't realize that you were so techie like this, and that's great because I kind of am too. But
yeah,
that's so great. If you have any last
I get it
comments,
more than most.
Good. Do you have any last minute comments or anything you want to add to this?
Look, I think my last comment is keep watching the DJ Danny Show, hosted by yours truly. Are we calling you Doc G, or what's?
I'm still Doc G.
I know you by so many different names. I never know which name to call you.
I'm sorry. What happened is my real name is Gino, right? And then Facebook stole my identity years ago, so I had to change it to Gene Puro. So a lot of my friends get confused. They don't even know who I am anymore. So I call myself Doc G because I was told I was a
I'm just going to call you G.
Doctor of music. So I said, okay, call it the Doc G. But no, I'm
just going to call you G-Man. I think
that's fine.
That should be your new handle, G-Man at
I was in the
Twitter.
government for a while, so that's fine. It's all good. I accept it.
There it is.
No, but that was great. And you know what? I'm only hosting this show till April, and then the show's going to go away a little bit. And, DJ Danny will still be on Tuesdays. But when can people hear you and listen to you and watch you?
So they can watch us weekdays at 8 a.m. Pacific time on the West Coast. Check your local time zone. We've had people tuning in sometimes, and you know this. You get this as well in the social media audience. We get people from around the world, Australia, UK. So I'm always amiss to say, what time we're at. Depending where you're at, if you look at our time, it's 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Check me out, Aaron Michael Sanchez, on my official page. Also, KMET, 1490 AM. Big shout out to them, the ABC News Radio affiliate. Also, KVVB TV, which actually we're in the studio right now, and they do some great things here, green screen, everything. So KVVB TV 33, that's where it's at as well. And follow us. Weekends I also do the Hollywood Social Lounge on both platforms, and we do a lot of entertainment interviews there. So plenty to choose from.
And what I like is also you give shout outs too. And that's beautiful. I love when you do that because you're recognizing your audience out there and say, hey, welcome, whoever. And that's great. I love that. But I want to thank you, Aaron, for being here today, taking time out of your day to talk to me and just, give us all the information about who you are, what you do, and where they can find you. That's great. So anybody else, I want to thank you all for listening to the DJ Danny. This is actually DJ Danny Presents show. I'm Doc G. I'm her dad. And, you can watch it probably in January when we come back. So everybody, have a great New Year, have a great Christmas, and remember, family first. And Aaron, thank you again for being here. It's been wonderful.
Absolutely. Thank you. And everybody, look forward to 2020. Some big things from the DJ Danny show. I can tell you right now. I already know. I have a feeling about it. And she's going on hiatus, everybody. She's not going away. She's just going on hiatus. That's called a vacation. She'll be back.
Absolutely.